There are a couple bills I've had a hard time with lately, and I wanted to just kind of process my thinking about them with you a little bit, and namely, they're in the area of education funding. And right now, we have a certain pot of money that goes to the schools for their general use. But frequently, we have some bills that want to carve out special programs and take a big chunk of that money, or sometimes lots of small chunks of that money, if to be relative. But nevertheless, it wants to take out chunks of this money and then distribute them to schools according to the program. Well, what that means is that those schools aren't going to have that money uh, to use with their own discretion. So, so I look at some of these, and I've already commented on the converting buses and to CNG, and how that was only going to really benefit a couple of school districts, and how that bill asked for the whole state to pay for them. Um, there have been other bills that come across. For instance, there was one on language arts software. And this again would take a chunk of our public education money and give it to districts that have not yet adopted language arts software. So I think that in a way it rewards the districts that are late adopters and punishes the districts that are early adopters. And this happens quite frequently. Today there was a bill on counseling, on school counselors' professional development. And again, through this whole bill, and it takes a lot of money out of the general pot and tries to distribute it to districts whose counselors have fallen behind in their competency. And this was testimony that was given both in committee and on the floor, that most school counselors, with the exception of the ones that have come out of counseling school in the last couple of years, most school counselors have fallen behind in their ability to offer to students good counseling in the areas of college and career readiness. So I spoke to that today, and my biggest concern is, again, why have so many school counselors fallen behind in their field? Why have they not remained competitive as school counselors, informed as school counselors? It's a competency issue. I'm wondering if they aren't competent or fully prepared to discuss career and college readiness with students. I'm wondering what they're doing with my children for as long as they are. And actually, I'm fairly optimistic on this, and I believe that my school's counselors are not the ones we're talking about, but somewhere in the state, a number, in fact, 60% is the number that we were given. That 60% of the counselors have fallen out of competency, and therefore all the districts should give up something in order to fund the districts who have not done this. Another bill today we heard was on advanced placement test preparation, and again wanting to take a big chunk of the generalized education fund from districts to provide AP test preparation. And my thought was, isn't that called a 9-month course? It's an AP class, and typically our teachers are really good at this and offer a lot of test prep, a lot of help to their students to pass the AP exams. I know 3 of my children actually have taken AP courses and have done well on the AP tests. So I'm not sure why we would take money away from districts to provide extra AP test prep. So some of these things are happening. Again, taking discretion away from districts and providing for specialized programs that typically are only going to benefit some of the districts. And it's possible a bill could come up that maybe I'm not so pure on this idea, but generally this is what I believe. I believe that the districts should have the most discretion in some of this funding and not lose money to rehab other districts or to get other districts caught up. to things that they haven't adopted as early as some of the other districts. So generally, that's my position on things like this. You'll see me voting against some things that sound like a good idea, but again, the question is not whether the thing itself is a good idea, but whether or not everyone in the state should pay for it. So